in each of their first 2 games. It's their 5th straight 2-0 start, extending their longest streak in franchise history, and it's also the longest active streak in the National Football League. Swagoo, let's get right to it. Can the Bucs win the NFC with Baker Mayfield?
They absolutely can. First of all, Baker Mayfield last night in a 2-minute drill, and you know this, CC, these games come down to this, especially when we start talking about the playoffs. They come down to those drives right there. Those games are decided by that. Now, the Bucs got a lot to fix, obviously. They 2-0 though, and I would love to be fixing them from 2-0 as opposed to 1-1 and 0-2. And as we saw the other night, the Falcons may be a problem as this season goes along. So that win means more to me week 1 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers than it did after watching them destroy, the Minnesota Vikings. But yeah, Baker Mayfield, listen, man, everybody knows when Baker Mayfield was in Cleveland, I was his harshest critic.
I don't think so.
Well,
because I thought he had more progressive commercials than wins. Yeah, so I think that was me. All right, go ahead.
And it was obviously that was Cleveland, and we know what has transpired since then in Cleveland. So I've apologized to Baker for that, but I also think he learned a lot about himself by almost being out of this conversation for being a starter in this league and being where he is today. Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Todd Bowles and the way that they play defense and the opportunities that he's going to create, whether with his legs or the weapons he has on the outside, can be real contenders in the NFC based on what I've seen these first 2 weeks.
Yeah, they can be real contenders if they can get to the finish line healthy. Yeah. And that's the biggest issue with them. I mean, Tristan Wirfs was out, Chris Godwin was out going into last night's game. They lost their right tackle, Redick. Emeka Egbuka got banged up in that game. Rashad White got banged up in that game. Kalijah Kancey got banged up in that game. And you just wonder whether or not attrition is going to take its toll. But at its best, when they're fully healthy, this is going to be one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL. They might have the best receiving core in the NFL.
Evans, Egbuka.
Yeah, Evans, Egbuka, and Chris Godwin. Yeah. I mean, I call Egbuka Baker's sous chef. Yes. Because that dude out there is 100%. A bona fide monster.
Right.
Okay, and that offensive line has shown the ability to be able to provide some balance by running the football, and that defense stepped up and made plays when they needed to last night. So they absolutely can. But when I start looking at the NFC as a whole, I got a bank full of respect for the Philadelphia Eagles, reigning defending champs. You're going to have to contend with the Green Bay Packers, who look like the best team in football right now.
The Commanders.
And you can't
or the Rams.
I was going to say the Rams. The Rams, if Matt Stafford's back holds up, I have more confidence in them winning the conference than the Tampa Bay Bucs. The one thing the Bucs have going in their favor that those other teams don't is that they play in the NFC South. And that is a 2-team race at this point in the season. I am ready to summarily dismiss the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints. They will be non-factors in terms of who wins the NFC South. It's going to come down to the Bucs and the Falcons. And in the first year, with Penix being the full-time starter, how could you not give the benefit of the doubt to the Bucs?
That's fair. No doubt about it. A couple of things come to my mind based off of last night's game. Number one, let's not forget that the Texans are considered to have the worst offensive line in football at this particular moment in time. So let's not forget that. You're going up against a Todd Bowles defense, for crying out loud. I know he's the head coach, but we all know anything that has something to do with defense, Todd Bowles has his fingerprints on that. So we got to get that out the way. This is what we're not picking up about Baker Mayfield as well. We've been talking about how he's been flinging that football, and deservedly so, because he's got weapons to throw the football to, and he knows how to finish the deal. Game-winning drives, his brother will show up, no doubt about it, and he deserves our praise. You know what else he deserves our praise for? Running the football.
100%.
Think about this. I'm just looking at this right here. This is Baker Mayfield, 3 massive first downs with his legs, a 3rd and 1, a 3rd and 15, a 3rd and 10, but none was bigger than the 4th and 10, 15-yard run on the final drive. This is what he's doing. He's finding a way to beat you any way it takes. And even though we look at today's game and we think about some of the elite passes of the game, the quarterbacks we usually praise are those who are a dual threat. We don't talk about that way with Joe Burrow, but it's certainly applicable to Patrick Mahomes to a lesser degree, certainly Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, and to a lesser degree Jalen Hurts. Well, you look at Baker Mayfield right now, what does he do? He beats you with his legs as well. That's what I'm looking at right now when it comes to him.
It's a great point you brought up. Last night on Monday Night Countdown, Van Pelt asked Troy, we got so caught up in talking about Baker and his moxie and the chip on the shoulder and how he plays that we kind of have put the ability to play the position in the back burner. Some throws that this kid is making, bro, some of these runs that you bring up, these are championship plays. These are not like a regular quarterback. These are high-level franchise quarterback plays, man. The touchdown to Egbuka. at the end of the game in the Falcons game. That was over time that developed. Last night, getting those first downs late in the game, a 2-minute drive that was seamless. Chris, you know how hard that is. We done seen veterans poo-poo down their leg in 2-minute drills at times when things seemingly are to go bad. But this is another part that I think you throw into the pot, because I killed Baker enough, so I'm going to wax poetic on it. They going to play for him. And I think it goes a long way.
This ain't Cleveland. This ain't Carolina.
It goes a long way and say, when you get into these type of games and you have these things stopped already. Remember the final drives in Atlanta. Remember the final drive against the Houston Texans. When you get further down the road, that they gonna remember that Baker Mayfield showed up in those moments, and he's been doing it since he's gotten to Tampa. I think that's going to matter.
He was sacked 4 times. He was sacked 4 times, but still scrambled when it really counted, and they didn't catch him. Time to move on, CC.
Oh my God, the speed and how he sees the field, it just opens up to go score. He's been special so far.
Early candidate for Rookie of the Year. He's got 3 touchdowns now. Texans early fourth quarter on a 4th and goal. Looks like C.J. Stroud has a chance for Collins here.
He throws it up. He tries to give him a chance, throws it out of bounds. That is extremely good coverage by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, though.
3.5 minutes to go. Texans down 14-13, but here comes Jalen Noel. He's got some space after a weekend in which we saw a lot of big returns. Here's a huge one down to the 26. Flag on the play, picked up. Great field position, Texans, and it leads to Nick Chubb. Texans take the lead.
Yeah, Nick Chubb still got something in the tank. That's speed. Can't go wrong if you run the ball.
They go for the 2. They don't get it, so it's 19-14. Second consecutive week, Baker's Bucs have a chance at a late drive. Look at him avoiding trouble on 4th and 10.
Unreal. Put it in Baker's hand. Let's shake and bake. Let him show you what he's got, baby. Look, and he's been banged up early. Still goes and converts this 4th down. Incredible play.
He looked dead to rights at the beginning of that play. A minute left. Bucs 2nd and 2 at the 45. Here comes Bucky Irving.
Yeah, Bucky Irving was special. You can't tackle him. Oh, the cutback. It's still going, bouncing off of him. He really put them in position to win this game.
Again, they had that great game-winning drive at the end of the game against Atlanta. Then they do it again last night. This is Mike Evans takes it inside the 10. Mike Evans still doing it. 9 seconds left, and here goes Rachaad White. Touchdown, ball game. Clutch game-winning drive for Baker and the Bucs. They win it 20-19, and so they are 2-0 with 2 last-second wins. And so the question to me is a pretty simple one. The answer may not be. I feel like yesterday we had a conversation about the big dogs in the NFC. It's Green Bay, it's Philadelphia, it's Detroit. Should Tampa Bay be in that conversation?
They're right there, right on the cusp of it. I don't have them in that same tier as those top teams. For one, they're still not healthy. So I look at this team, and I would call them a resilient one. They're finding ways, you just talked about in week 1 and week 2, to finish games at the very end and find a way to win. That is without Tristan Wirfs. That's without McMillan. That's without Chris Godwin. All of these guys they don't have. I think that is a huge deal.
He's giving you every reason they should be in there. That's why they should. They had 2 new tackles playing us and still find ways to win. This team is definitely in that same group. They've gone on the road against 2 good teams